What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the ABQJournal, and we are, I should always look at this before, 55 minutes away from tip-off. UNM Lobos, Air Force Falcons in the pit. Welcome to, seems like it's been a while since we had a home game, but it was just, 10 days ago or so, I guess. Scott Waterman, Coach Waterman is here to talk a little bit of Air Force, a little bit of Lobo basketball, and let's start with that, man. Like, what do we got to look forward to tonight when it's a unique setup where you play a team that you beat by 42, and they are struggling. They have a lot of freshmen, new coach, all that kind of stuff going on. How do you guys prepare for a game that everybody that comes tonight is going to expect you to win, which kind of puts a little bit of pressure in a way on you guys?
Yeah. First, thanks for having me, Geoff.
Yep.
I think in a game like this, it really comes down to, especially at this point in the season, we have to get better. Like, there's no point where we can dip backwards, and that's been kind of a point of emphasis these last few days in practice. And I think one of the good things was having the bye on Saturday allowed us to really step back and focus on ourselves and what we need to get better at, and some tinkerings and things that we can do to thrive as we approach the Mountain West Conference tournament. And not many teams get to do that. For those who don't know, when you're in the throng of the season, it's play, prepare, play, prepare, play, prepare. And you're not really working on yourself. You're just preparing for your next opponent. And we spent the last couple of days getting back to some of the things that we needed to work on or polish up so we can come out in a game like this where and people don't, yes, we beat them by a lot and they're struggling, but they have a sense of pride. They still want to win games. They have something to play for. That's wouldn't be the first time ever that a team like this would come out and upset. So we have to come out with the right mindset and be prepared and get back to Lobo basketball.
And while it isn't an entirely foregone conclusion that you guys will win, there's more to it than just the outcome of the final score tonight. Like, you guys are in a position now where you are in the home stretch. You're less than 20 days left in this regular season. You guys have stuff to work on. You guys need to get better at possession by possession. You guys need to get better at not having 5-minute lulls. You guys have stuff you need to work on, and you can do that against them just as well as you can do it against any opponent. And that's why, this isn't just a look past this game entirely. Like, you guys have stuff you can work on.
Correct. And that's what, like I said, the emphasis on Friday and Saturday in practice was really getting back to those things. And we spent some time breaking down our last couple of games and things that we saw in film that we needed to get better at.
You don't need to worry about this, but we have a comment. Mr. Grammer, Lobos don't cover tonight, but coast all night after the second media timeout. So that is sort of the good and the bad about a game like this is, yeah, you're expected to win, and you're expected to win comfortably, but there are some metrics involved too, and coaches don't need to really consume themselves, certainly not publicly. I mean, I talked to Eric about it, and he's not going to take the bait. Feel free to take the bait and talk about how much you have to beat them by if you want, but I doubt you will, because coaches can't talk about that. But there is some reality this time of year for a bubble team with style points, and it kind of came up this past weekend where Jared Calhoun got criticized by Penny Hardaway because his guy was dunked at the end. Now, whether or not he should have dunked, I don't know. But I'm curious how you feel about a system that kind of has it has efficiency is what it is. It has efficiencies written into the schedule or into the formula. So it isn't outcome-based, like you beat them by 30, that's, qualifies as this in the Ken Palm rankings or whatever rankings. But it does have efficiency in there, and that's points per possession. So if you take any possessions off, in theory, that sounds good. But then you have situations like Saturday with Utah State and Memphis where the game was out of hand and Utah State kept scoring. I'm curious what you think about that scenario. It puts teams in a bad position. It puts both teams in a bad position. What's your thought in general, just philosophically, on a team up late in the game still scoring?
Great question. I think
put you on the spot right now.
Yeah, exactly. You did. I think at the end of the day, there's two columns. We want to be in the left-hand column, and there's 31 games. It's a full body of work, and one game, a few possessions at the end of the day will not determine if we make the NCAA tournament or not. We had 5 or 6 opportunities that we didn't take care of our own business. And at the end of the day, if we don't make the margin of our game against Air Force, then we can look back at the other games where we didn't have our opportunities to do so. So I'm not going to –
You're probably not going to look back at wins and say that's where we should have done something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and again, that's my perspective. Maybe other people have different opinions, but just for me, I don't get mixed up into the numbers. I know that we have to win and take care of our own business. We have 6 games left before the conference tournament, and that will allow us to control our own destiny with 2 for sure, 3 potential quad 1 games left on our schedule.
I would say my difference in opinion from you there is that in the Mountain West, the margin for error is so little because of the current structure where a bad SEC team can finish 3 games below 500 in their league and get into the tournament because they're going to play 15 quad 1 games this year, just by virtue of being in the league they're in, and you guys don't get those opportunities. So I look at it as you have to find every little place where you could gain here or there. You're looking at it as take care of the main thing, which is winning games.
Yes.
And slight difference, like I think you have to gain every little advantage you can, but now we're kind of really splitting hairs, and it does speak to, in my mind, I don't even know what the fix is, but I do hate the fact that I've covered this league for long enough to see some teams that were just on the outside looking in the bubble when they had pretty good seasons, and then I see not this year, but like say a Georgia, just as an example for a team. I see a Georgia with a sub 500 league record get into the tournament, and nobody really bats too much of an eye. So that's frustrating. But to your point, take care of the wins, win games, and you're going to get in.
Yes, exactly.
So what do you guys got to do to win games down this stretch? You guys got 6 left. A few of them really, really tough. A few of them like this that might be a little bit more about preparing for those games and getting right yourself. What do you guys still need to work on right now to sort of get where you want to get in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, first, ball screen defense is always going to be key with how teams play and being able to make adjustments. For example, Boise State, they did a really good job. We didn't expect them to shoot that well, and we needed to probably make an adjustment a little bit sooner. And those are things that we spent the last couple of days work on. Ball screen coverage, blocking out offensively, continuing to move the ball, get to the paint, being aggressive in transition. So it really comes down to just what we define as Lobo basketball and getting that right. Will it ever be perfect? No, for 100% of a game, but we need to get that to where we're maximizing the most possible possessions as possible.
I'm curious in hindsight, last week at Grand Canyon, get out to a big lead, and they're a really good team, better than being down 20 in the first half. And that's not a knock on you guys. I just think they're better than that. They contributed to being down 20 as much as you guys were excelling at it, right? So I'm curious, though, when you're up 20 and they come all the way back, when you guys look back at how they came back, what were some of the things that you could have done better or differently? Because it seemed to me like once they quit using their ball screen, like they just started attacking the rim, they were great, and it makes me wonder why they don't just do that more, because they do have some drivers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you guys weren't really able to step in and really stop that until about that under 8 media timeout.
Yeah, and credit to Coach Roberts and Coach Olin. We went zone the last 7 minutes, and it really slowed them down. And that was one thing that we did spend a few last couple of days for working with. We had kind of
that back in a little bit, right?
Yeah, we had kind of dumped that back in after the Nebraska game. And
now it's a weapon again, at least a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, we hadn't worked on it since that game, and it came out and won us the game against Grand Canyon. And credit to, like you said, they're not 20 points worse than us by any means. We did a great job guarding. We had a high level of energy, and I think when you come off 2 tough losses like we did, like our guys had to come out and play a high level game, and we did that in the first half. And that's a hostile environment. They're a good team, and we knew that they were going to come back. Obviously, you don't want to let them take a 1 or 2 point lead, which they got it back to. But that's part of basketball. And credit to our guys that they never blinked when it happened. Like, I've seen plenty of teams when we were down 2, Grand Canyon had the ball, and I've seen them cave. Yeah. And we didn't cave. We got a stop. We came down. We scored. Got another stop. I don't know if you paid attention to this, but we got 12 last 14 possessions. We got 12 stops. And
12 out of 14.
Yeah, two kills in that time.
I think Henley had a layup in there, and then was it free throws on the other one?
Yeah, free throws was the other one. And that's credit to our guys for not having to will to win. And like you take a guy like Luke Hopt, who had 0 points in that game, but he was a key to winning that game because he made the right plays when it pushed game to shove. He made the right defensive rotations and plays, and it's guys like that that win you those type of games. And basketball is a game of runs. We've all heard that, and they made theirs, and then we came right back with ours.
I think they're a team that's still dangerous.
Yep.
But when I saw them against you guys, I realized on paper to me they seem like a bad matchup for you because I think they have size and rebounding that I thought could cause trouble for you guys. They have a lot of guys that can they can go score on their own. They can create their own shot. I thought they might be more of a problem for you. They weren't a problem for you until they kind of went away from what they wanted to do, which was I maybe highlighted their individual skill sets a little more. And I don't think for 40 minutes they can win many games doing what they were doing there. But you guys that game impressed me as much as any. Now, you did the same thing to them here as you did in the first half, where you were just better than them for the entirety of the game, the second half anyway, and of the game here. But that one was really impressive to me. On the flip side, you guys still have a lot to show when it comes to a Utah State, right? An opponent like that. So I don't want to say that you guys have it all figured out because you beat Grand Canyon, but man, you guys needed that win. And I would say that win in the fashion you did it probably gained so much in their minds.
Yeah, and I think, again, this is just my thoughts. Like, that's a game that if you don't win, you come back on Friday when we had practice, and there's a very different mindset. Not that we're not going to win, not that we can't go win the Mountain West Conference tournament, but it kind of rejuvenates you.
That scenario,
yeah.
I mean, you would have been on 3 losses, sitting on a bye, coming into an Air Force game. That would have been a long stretch between what we, maybe not you guys, but what the world views as like really meaningful games. It would have been a long stretch of like people wondering what happened to the Lobos. So I think it was a huge game for you guys.
Yes, I don't disagree with you. And to execute the way we did in the first half, there was a lot of positive on film we could show, and also the things that we need to continue to get better at. And you learn so much from those type of possessions.
All right. Let's see what kind of questions we got in here. We got Richie. Richie, I'm sure you're working. Glad you're here. But boys, let's get a dub tonight, sir. Oh, on your day off. Look at you. Expecting tonight, next 3 games, better defense for the 3-point line. So, hold on a second. I do want to point out that there are 2 Mountain West teams holding teams under 30% at the 3-point line. That are in the top 15 in the whole country, 365 teams, and you guys are one of 15 of them holding teams under 30%. And you guys have not given up. You guys have allowed 698 attempts, I think it is. You do give up a lot of them.
Yeah.
To hold a team or hold opponents under 30% is tremendous 3-point defense.
Yeah, and
I think people remember the Boise State game and think you guys don't defend the 3.
Yeah, so. and if you sit in our staff meetings and our team meetings, we're daring teams to beat us on contested 3s. And Boise State, tip your hat to them. Fielder got hot. Andrews made a couple tough ones, and that's what happens some nights in the game of basketball. And we're going to continue to get better, and we learn from it and how we have to contest better and how we probably need to, if we see them in the Mountain West Conference tournaments, the adjustments we'll make on our ball screen coverages, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
It's something you need sometimes.
I think when people see a team hit, let's just say 10, throw out a number. If a team hits 10 threes, but they took 33 of them, like, fans still remember seeing, wow, I saw 10 threes go in. They don't defend the 3 very well. But if you get to take 33 or 35 of them, like, that percentage is just fine.
Yeah.
You'd love to have a team miss 25 shots on one specific kind of shot. So I think you guys are actually defending the 3 quite well statistically. So you guys it shows that you guys are.
Yes.
All right. A couple more comments here. I'm thinking we got to win the Mountain West tournament to get in. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it, so why not just go ahead and do that anyway? But I would say, Eddie, that there's certainly a path to an at-large bid. Coach, has this coaching position at UNM been your ultimate coaching job to date? I mean, you have been the head coach, but how has this year been for you?
This year's been phenomenal, and I've worked at 7 other schools, and none of them have had the resources or commitment to winning that University of New Mexico has. And it's been unreal to walk into a crowd of 14,000 people, to work out in a practice facility, have your own facilities, the treatment that you get here, it has been incredible. And there's a testament to the people of New Mexico, the school, for the commitment that they make to making this the best, sport on campus. And we're going to continue to put for the fans to show you that we're going to hold up our end of the bargain. Coach Olin knows what this program is about and the commitment that's being made to us, and we're excited to continue that. So in my time as a coach, yes, it's been incredible. Obviously, being a head coach is a completely different experience, but there's only probably 75, 80 programs in the United States that are like this, and to be at one of them is an incredible opportunity.
Right. So, how you? Have you ever seen La Bamba, the movie?
I was young. I'm old enough to remember when it came out.
As am I, but I watch it all the time. There's a backstory to that, but La Bamba is the best movie ever, and people always try and get me to ask people if they've seen it. So
definitely,
you don't have to call it the best of all time, but it's a good movie, though.
It was a good movie, especially in the 80s when it came out.
Yes, especially many, many decades ago when it came out. All right, the mission for tonight's ball game is likely to fine-tune the engine and hope for no injuries or minor dings. I think that's true.
Yep.
This is John Romero, by the way, on YouTube. No more tickets left for San Diego State. That's true, too. The San Diego State game actually sold out before last week's game. It was sold out before – what was the last game here? Oh, before the Boise State game. The San Diego State game had already sold out, so didn't mean to click that off. Sorry. Can Coach come up with ideas why we have slow starts is what I think that says to games and second half. You guys have kind of gone back and forth this year, so I don't know if it's an overriding trend. But you've had slow starts to games, I'm spitting here, and you guys have also had slow starts to second halves. Luckily, it hasn't been coincided in the same game that often.
Yeah.
But how do you fix slow starts to halves?
It's something that you can work on in practice. Put 4 minutes on the clock and randomly during practice. All right, this is like the beginning of a half. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in. I don't know if that constitutes a slow start or not. And other teams make shots too.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's a game of runs, and sometimes it just doesn't start the half. That doesn't mean the game's over. That doesn't mean it's be all and end all. But obviously, we want to have more starts where we come out with high energy and play our game to start and put the defense on their heels and use our defense to get the offense on their heels.
I would say the Grand Canyon game plays into that a little bit. You guys started off, I wouldn't say super fast offensively, but your defense was good enough.
Defense set the tone for sure.
Yeah, it helped them to a slow offensive start.
6 straight stops to start the game.
And it wasn't your offense that scored 6 straight possessions. You guys kind of methodically built, what was it, an 11-0 lead maybe?
Yeah, 11-0, yep.
All right, do we need set plays to start each half? It's that's one way to go about it, right? Kind of come out, kind of like when you come out of the timeout. I guess you can do something like that second half anyway.
Yeah, and we do. Like there's different things that the common eye may not see that are sets out of that are disguised within our motion. On the flip side, I think also it's really good sometimes to start just playing our game because the guys get a feel for the crowd, the opponent, how they're going to do things. There's no right or wrong way. It's we do those things out of timeouts and yeah.
Got one more question from the viewers right now for you, and then I'm going to ask you one more, and then I'll let you go. Mark Fuentes is asking, and we kind of addressed this already, but do you think more zone will be implemented now that it showed it work? I guess what I'll kind of forward that with a little bit, since we did address that a little bit, is how much mixing of defenses is healthy for a team. I mean, some teams want to focus just on one for a reason. Some teams love mixing it up, but then you're never kind of a jack of all trades, sort of thing where you might not perfect one. So how much do you guys want to mix up defense? Because then it cuts into your practice time, right? You have to practice both times.
Yeah, and I think one of the good things, not to deflect from the real question here, is we've spent a lot of time working on our zone early in the season and into the summer. So it's like a refresher right now. It's not like we've spent.
You're not starting.
Yeah, we're not starting day one here on zone defense.
Now that would have been impressive if you guys are drawing up how to do a zone in the media timeout in Phoenix. But.
And a lot of the same principles apply in both our man and our zone. Now, to the question, I think it varies based on opponent. I don't think it's something where we come out and say, hey, we're going to play this many possessions of zone, this many possessions of man, or this part of the game man, this part of the game zone. It's all more on a feel. Sometimes you could say, like, hey, we're going to go zone for 40 minutes because this team can't shoot or whatnot. But for right now in the situation that we're in, we're looking at it as something that we can use to keep teams on their heels and still use man as our primary offense or primary defense, but be able to mix in our zone as the game goes along.
All right, we got somebody saying, appreciate you, Coach, and we love this staff. So shout out to you and the staff. And then we got Eddie here saying we need some Reggie Miller type screens for shake and bake, which is what I call Jake. Jake Hall sometimes. I call him Jake and Bake. But Jake Hall's been phenomenal. We've talked about it before, but the end of that Grand Canyon game, Jake wasn't a freshman that night. I mean,
no.
He was phenomenal in that closing stretch.
Yeah, he made some huge plays down the stretch, and I think the one thing that people probably didn't realize is before he made the shot that put us up, he had one driving to the middle of the paint and pulled up and missed, and he was incredibly upset that he missed that shot.
That wasn't the one Bouillon?
It was with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, okay.
And he drove to the middle, pulled up in the paint, little fadeaway. And he was incredibly upset that he missed that shot. And I think he spent the next day shooting about 100 of them.
Yeah.
So
he's going to hit about 10 of them.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Hey, I appreciate it.
No problem, Geoff.
You guys
Thank you very much.
got a tough stretch of games coming up tonight. And tonight there's plenty to gain from even a game like this.
Yeah, so one at a time.
One at a time. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. All right. So there's Coach Waterman joining us. I appreciate him for doing that while the team's warming up down there. I will flip this camera around so you guys can see the court. Unfortunately, for that perspective, everybody just left the court. But there you go. There is a court here tonight. They do got a court. Now we got Roger walking in behind, which is fine. Let me fix this. All right, guys. So we do got one Mountain West game starting in 6 minutes, and I have not yet posted the Grammar's guesses, so I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking Fresno in that game, just so it's at least on some record right now. I'll pull up ESPN right now. ESPN's telling us that Fresno is getting 9.5 points at Wyoming. Let me hit refresh just to make sure none of those lines have changed. Wow, it has changed. It's up to 10.5. I'm still definitely taking Fresno. So the Grammar's guesses lines on that will be what ESPN is showing me right now, which is UNM favored by 28 over Air Force. We got Fresno State getting 10.5 at Wyoming. I'm taking Fresno State. I do think Wyoming wins that game. But, man, Fresno State's a dangerous team down the stretch of the season. I think Fresno State, as long as Highbreeder and Zion Collins are playing, they're gonna knock somebody off. They're going to pull one of these off. They're at least going to be dangerous every time they play. I don't think they win tonight. But, man, the 10.5 points for that Fresno team, even going to Laramie in elevation, that's a lot of points. I'm taking Fresno there. The other lines, I'll just tell you, Nevada is favored by 10.5 over San Jose State. Because San Jose State still has their injury woes going, I really like that San Jose State team. But if they're going to play 6 guys like they did Saturday, they played 6 guys, and their bench guy only played 18 minutes because he fouled out in 18 minutes. So they basically played 5 guys almost the entirety of the game. I'm going to go Nevada covering 10.5 at San Jose State. And then the big one in around the league tonight is Grand Canyon at San Diego State. That's at 8 p.m. Mountain on CBS Sports Network, 7 Pacific at Viejas Arena. San Diego State favored by 7.5. I don't really like that line. I think San Diego State should actually be favored by, maybe 8 or 9. I think I'm going to go – not I think. I'm going to take San Diego State to cover 7.5 against Grand Canyon. I'm taking Nevada to cover 10.5 at San Jose State. I'm taking Fresno State getting 10.5 at Wyoming. And then I will – 28.5 points is a whole lot of points. I mean, as impressive as UNM was, a historic win at Air Force last go-around, that was 42 points. That's only 11.5 points more than what they're favored by tonight. To expect them to basically win in the 30s against a team or win in the 30s and 40s twice is crazy. I will take New Mexico to cover it, but, man, I do not like that. I've been actually treated pretty good by taking Air Force in all these 25-plus point spreads. So there you go. And just for the record too, I have in a text message here my daughter is taking New Mexico, Fresno State, San Jose State, and Grand Canyon. So Air Force. Yeah, no. Let me reread that because I did that in the wrong order. She has heads, tails, which is home, but I read that wrong because on ESPN I have the New Mexico game at top. So she has heads, tails, which is home, road. Now, the order of games is Fresno State first, so that one she has Wyoming. I read New Mexico game right. Okay. And then she has tails for the second game, so she has Air Force. Yep, I read these wrong. And then the Nevada-San Jose State game, what did I say she had? She had heads home, so she has San Jose State. And then she has tails, Grand Canyon. Okay, so my daughter's coin has Wyoming, Air Force, San Jose State, and Grand Canyon. I am taking New Mexico, Fresno State, Nevada, and San Diego State. So there you go. That is the splits and how it works out right now for the Grammar's guesses and my daughter's coin flip picks for the night. And I will post those here in a minute. I know that's the important stuff that you guys all come here for. Mark is saying, I feel like San Diego State would be a good zone defense candidate. You're telling me, man, like I think their length, I mean, they're never going to do it. They're built on zone. I get it. But, like, I'll tell you what, man, I think they could be a problem if they played some zone. Kind of like, frankly, Syracuse did the 2-3 forever because he'd get a bunch of 6'9 guys out, 6'7, 6'8, 6'9 guys, and he'd have so much length in that 2-3 zone that you could not pass the ball, right? Boeheim used to do that with some of those good Syracuse teams. Now, he locked in too much to a 2-3 through the years, but that's a whole other story. But I agree with you, Mark. I think San Diego State could be a team that could be great if they played a little more zone than they do. How many people are expecting that? I'm guessing it's going to be 11,500 announced. I don't think they hit 12,000 announced tonight. I was looking at the numbers, and not great numbers. San Diego State has already sold out. I think last year there were 3 sellouts, but that included a New Mexico State game that there is not on the schedule this year. San Diego State sold out last year just like it did this year. And then there is, what else are we looking at? Tonight, San Diego State and the Colorado State game. Those are the 3 home games left. Lee Cherry and Silver on X is also saying, so if we don't cover, does that hurt our metrics? It can. I mean, it doesn't hurt a whole lot. But, yeah, you better just cover that magic number. Because basically, remember, that magic number, the line, is based on efficiency numbers, predictive metrics like KenPom.com. If your predictive metrics say you should win by 28.5, if you don't win by that number, essentially that computer algorithm and that computer formula is essentially saying you didn't quite play up to expectations, right? So then your algorithm probably docks you just a little bit. So, yeah, you can kind of look at the line and you can look at covering or not covering point spreads as how it could hurt or how it could sometimes hurt, but sometimes also help in metrics like KenPom.com, BartTorvik.com, and some of those analytics sites like that. So what else we got here? Grand Canyon Magic tonight. Book it. Eddie is predicting a Grand Canyon win at San Diego State. There you go. She's a smart lady. All right. It is nice to have coaches pregame. I appreciate you guys for saying so, too, and I will pass that on to him. Ernie is in on X. If state passes the stadium funding, would that be given this year or next? It'll be given in the upcoming fiscal year, meaning July 1st. They would probably go ahead and start the initial phases of phase 1. Phase 1 of their big project for University Stadium is broken up into 4 phases rather. But let me back up. The entire remodel plan and wish list is a 4-stage, 4-phase, multi-year, $267 million project. All UNM right now is really hoping to get started on is phase 1, which in and of itself is broken into 4 phases. The first phase is a $16 million phase. They already have that money. I would say I think they already have that money secured. I guess I'm putting cart before horse a little bit here. I would be shocked if even if they don't get exactly the $28 million that the Senate Bill 2 or Senate Bill budget bill sent back to the House for HB2, which is the state's budget. even if 28 gets decreased, I would be shocked if it got decreased lower than them being able to start phase 1, which is a $16 million starting project that would expand the ticketing gates. It would help out with mobile ticketing. It would kind of create a whole lot of extra space in entering the stadium. That's one of the primary initial needs. That, I believe, at this point, I'm saying it's safe to say will start maybe even this offseason. I think they can get that started before next season. Now, phase 1 is not going to be a one-year job. It won't be done before next season starts. But I think they can start some work before next season starts. And I would be shocked if that's not what we hear fairly soon from UNM. All right, what else we got? So tonight, what can we expect from tonight? It's hard to it's going to be hard to fault the Lobos for a whole lot tonight. You know, they may win by 20 points and just be so comfortably ahead. They're only shooting 9 guys, but you know they have put Tamil Pons in a couple times this year. They put him in with the 38-point lead at UNLV, and UNLV immediately went on a 13-0 run. Milos Vicentic is not available tonight. He was in that run, that 13-0 run at UNLV as well. But we're talking about metrics and how things can hurt the computer analytics for teams. Well, having a 38-point lead and then that dwindling down into the 20s, game ended up being a 28-point win because UNM did score there at the end too. But that kind of stuff starts adding up, and it does hurt the analytics just a little bit. But a little bit isn't not at all, right? And so you have to add up a whole bunch of a little bits. And when you're on the bubble, sometimes it's just a little bit that gets you in the NCAA tournament as opposed to out of it. So, look, the Lobos tonight could win comfortably by 25, and it actually wouldn't help. That's kind of the tricky part of having Air Force in your league when Air Force is going through what they're going through, which is right now they scored 63 points Saturday at Fresno, 63 points at Fresno State. 57 were scored by freshmen. So the Lobos essentially are playing a team tonight of non-scholarship freshmen. If they struggle, if the Lobos that is, good for Air Force. I don't see it happening, but good for Air Force if they're able to make a game of this tonight. All right, guys, well, there you go. I am going to wrap up now. Check out abqjournal.com for all the post-game coverage, for our post-game videos, for our tomorrow morning's emptying the notebook, all that kind of stuff. abqjournal.com is where you can get all that coverage. Print as well. abqjournal.com/subscribe is where you could help us out. Subscribe to local journalism. It helps us do shows like this. It helps us do our coverage all year. Helps us still travel to games. Helps us get to the Mountain West tournaments. And we're doing all that stuff just like normal. This weekend I'll be at Fresno on Saturday and Reno on Tuesday. And it's because of readers like you subscribing and supporting local journalism that helps us do those kind of things. So please subscribe if you can. abqjournal.com/subscribe. And I want to also shout out Sandia Sportsbook for sponsoring these shows. Without them and without you guys, none of this is possible. So thank you guys very much. Lobos, Air Force, 22 minutes from tip-off in the pit. Check you guys later.